Right, okay, guys, what I'm going to look at today is auxins. And auxins are things that we found in plants. It's like looking at plant hormones, and it's how they respond to a stimuli. So, you know how we're doing about humans, and we're looking about how they respond to a stimulus. So, like we put your hand on something hot, you move it away. Obviously, plants respond to stimuli, but they don't do it in the same way that humans do or animals do. So, we're going to look at how plants do that. And there are two things we need to look at, one called geotropic and the other one is phototropic. And we're going to look at that in roots and in stems. And you need to understand how a thing called auxin, which is a plant hormone, how that works in the phototropic response of stems. So we've got this here about geotropism, but we need to see how auxin works in phototropism. So what I'm going to do now is you've got a copy of this PowerPoint in the classroom. If you click on this, it should give you a link that will take you to this website. Now, it may not work for you on Google and Google Chrome, so you may need to open it on Explorer or Firefox to get this working because it requires Flash. So I want you to go through this and it would explain what's happening in terms of the auxin. So yeah, you can go away and do that. Okay, so hopefully you've watched that. You may want to press pause and then come back if you haven't already. But I'm just going to go through basically the plant hormones. So what happens is plants don't have those sense organs like we do, so they can detect things like light and gravity, and we call those responses to stimuli tropisms. So when a plant responds to light, it's called phototropism. Remember, photo from photosynthesis was light. Tropism is a response, so it's light response. And it's all to do with the auxins, which are found in the shoot tips, sometimes called coleoptiles. So if you see the word coleoptiles, it just means the plant shoot. And that causes it to grow towards light. So we've got to understand how that auxin is going to help it grow towards the light. And because they're growing towards the light, we call it positive phototropism because it's a positive thing, it's going towards it. Now you should just think for a second, why is it important a plant grows towards the light when it shoots? Well, it obviously needs that light for photosynthesis. So if it doesn't get the light, it's not going to be able to do it. So in phototropism, it's all dependent on the direction of the light source. So plants that are furthest from the light have more auxin in their coleoptile, so they'll grow quicker and then it will make the cells elongate. And we'll see that in a diagram in a second. So what you've got here is you've got your auxin molecules, the light's above it. The auxin molecules will just be at the shoot, they're going to elongate, it's going to grow towards it. It's coming from the side, you can see the light, these auxins distribute on this side. So because they're distributed on that side, these cells elongate, these cells stay the same. Because these cells got longer, it grows towards the sun, so it bends. It's all to do with the bending of that shoot. And this is just another diagram there showing then the auxin is going to be released on the dark side. So the coleoptile at the top here, this root tip is going to create that auxin, which is then going to go down either side. Now, if we've got light coming from one direction, it can really ruin the plants. So these are mung beans that have been growing in a classroom or in a cupboard, and they grow towards the light. So you can see they're going towards the light there. Now, if we turn them around, they go right the other way. So that is phototropism. The other type of tropism you need to know about is geotropism, or sometimes called gravitropism. And what that does is this is going to be how they respond to gravity. Now, obviously, roots need to grow down because they want to get to the water. So the first bit is the shoots are growing up to get to the sunlight, but the shoots need to grow down to get down to the sunlight. And you can see we've got a few spelling mistakes on there, so let's just change that while we're here. And that one should be grow. So again, the hormone auxin is going to cause the plant shoots to grow against gravity and the plant roots to grow towards gravity. So the plant shoots have negative geotropism and the plant roots have positive geotropism. And obviously, again, we've got to think about why is that important. So the shoots will grow upwards towards the light and the roots will grow downwards towards gravity, or it's actually against gravity for the geotropism. So that means you get the light and you get the water. So an example of that is if you knocked over a pot plant, you'd see after a while that the top ones would start curving upwards and the roots would start curving down. So this is positively geotropic, it's moving downwards, and this is negatively geotropic. We can see that in the roots here in this seed. So we've got a seed here reacts to gravity. You can see the auxin goes on this side, elongates the cells. The auxin elongates the cells in the shoot, so it grows upwards. But in the root, it inhibits the growth of the cells on this side, so they don't elongate. These ones will grow normally, so then it bends downwards. So just make sure you understand the difference between negative and positive geotropism, and how that's happening. Now, if we turn the seed up, if we turn this upside down, then it would have the same effect. These would move to the other side, that would move to the other side, and then the root and shoot would bend accordingly. Okay, so what I want you guys to do now, so I want you to go to Google Classroom. You'll see you've got a video here. I want you to watch that video, and then once you watch that video, I want you to click onto this assignment. Now, there's two things in here. I would like you to open the document first, and it will take you to this document here. So within that document, what I want you to do is read through that first part. Then within here, you need to say, what is the stimulus for the root? So what is the stimulus? So remember that from the human biology one, stimulus is going to be something that you can detect. So obviously it's just going to be one of these two at the top. So the root, what does the root detect? What does the shoot detect? What is the response? So what happens to the root? What happens to the shoot? Okay, so fill that bit in, and then when you scroll down, I would like you to then find a diagram. You might need to go to the PowerPoint, which you got a copy of, put a diagram in here, and then look at this experiment and just say what's happening in this experiment. So we look at our experiment here, the coleoptile, they've all been treated at this height. So these ones have been cut off. These ones have had a little hat, not a hat, but they've got a foil cap that's gone over the tips, and these have got light coming in from the side. So why have these gone straight up? Why are these bent over the side? Why have these not grown? So you need to put in a reason why. Once you've done that, I would like you to go back to the PowerPoint, the presentation, which you got a copy of. And on your copy of, what I'd like to do is look at each experiment you've got. You've got a few experiments. So you've got to say what happened in the experiments for each one. So for this experiment, why did we see this happen? So why did this one bend towards the light? Why did this one not grow? Why does this one grow straight up? Okay, this is what they're all like at the beginning. So that's very similar to your last question you've done, but you've then got some various questions afterwards. So you can either make the picture smaller and write it on the page, it's easier, or put it on a blank page afterwards. Experiment 1, so this experiment here, what they've done in each case is they've cut the tip off, but in this case they put mica sheet in. So the mica sheet is not porous, plant doesn't grow. Here they put gelatin, it grows towards the light. So what does that tell us? And then look at experiment 2. So you just write about each one, what's happening in each experiment. Okay, what do we see happening? Okay, so that's what I want you to do. Any questions or anything you don't understand, then feel free to email me. Hope you're all okay. Cheerio. Bye.